So, what was your life like when you were, let's say, 10 or 11 years old? Do you remember? Some of you have good memories. Some of you don't. So, was it good? Was it more like paradise when you look back? So sometimes I get this nostalgia, right? Going back to earlier times, especially 10 or 11. Look at my family photo, and so that's way back in the 70s, and life was good. Maybe not materially, we didn't have that much, but I was happy, very happy. Life was simpler, and I was much younger. Right? So the other day I was looking at my photo, two of my photos. I only have two photos of me around 10 or 11. And I thought, looking at that, geez, I look very innocent. 10 or 11. And I looked at my recent selfie took of myself at 61 years old, and what a difference 50 years make. Nowhere resembling. At 11 years old, I looked very innocent, handsome, hungry, curious, clean slate of canvas, sort of, not tainted, very pure. Now, when I look at myself 50 years later, I see almost no trace of a young boy, kind of wrinkled and rifled, tired, and tarnished, and tainted slate of canvas. Of course, still handsome. So that's so at 11, I was most clean, most curious, most carefree, most enchanted, awestruck at everything when I was 10 or 11. And then I look at that picture once in a while and get this, like, how did this young, innocent boy end up like this old, ragged, wrinkly man? And that's only what happened on the outside. You would now recognize my inner side, inner person. And now. So I get into this nostalgia once in a while, sort of stuck in that era when I was innocent, when the life was much simpler, fun, and carefree, sort of paradise in that sense. I also have one other picture that I carry. I always look into my iPhone. It's always there, and I look into that. The screenshot, the photo of my family, four of us, two children, my children and Sue and myself, four of us. We used to take Christmas picture, family photos in the living room as we were having Christmas dinner together. So four of us sitting on the sofa, we took pictures when the children were about 10 or 12 years ago, when they were still with us. And we took pictures, like I think we did about 4 or 5 years on the street. Took that. So I looked at that once in a while, and then the memories, great memories, just rushing back into me. And I find myself deep into that kind of a daydream. Wow, I wish if I could just go back and just freeze frame that sort of kind of paradise. Right? I often find myself stuck in that glorious and carefree moments, stuck in paradise. So do you do that sometimes? Yes? Yes, sometimes. So today is a Transfiguration Sunday, the Sunday after Epiphany and before Lent, sort of in between Sunday, in the season of church calendar. And the text for today is from the story when Jesus was changed on that mountain, like Moses was changed on the mountain of God. So just for your information, I think I preached on this same story last year with different take, and I think I focused on difference between transformation and transfiguration. Anybody remember that? Some of you do. Basically, transformational change is a change in form and substance, complete change, outward change, like caterpillar is changing to butterfly. So that transformational change. Transfigurational change is a change in spiritual term. As we live in the light of Christ, we begin to change more and more like Christ, reflecting the light of God. So God is glorified through us. So what we say and what we do. So when we say we need to change in terms of transfigurational change, not transformational change. We sometimes get kind of confused about these two terms. Transfiguration about inner change, inner person change. Light shines from inside and out. So on that mountain, Jesus was changed, but he wasn't changed transformationally. It wasn't like all of a sudden he became somebody else, like there's some cosmetic difference. Well, he was transfiguration. There was a light shining. So that's what that transfiguration and our change is all about. So when we say about change, transfiguration, inside and out change, right? So in today's text, Peter, John, and James went up on a mountaintop with Jesus. And there they saw Jesus change, awesome change. His clothes shimmering, glistening white, whiter than any bleach could make them. Jesus transfigured, went to his full glory right before their very eyes, and he was having a deep conversation with no other than Moses and Elijah, the great holy men of Israel. An awesome sight on holy ground, where the heavenly realm engulfed and touched the earth in its full glory, a heaven on earth, sort of paradise in that sense. And seeing all of this, Peter could not contain himself and just blurted out. He says, "Wow, Jesus, this is just so awesome, so beautiful. It's a paradise. Let's just build 3 shacks, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. Let's just stay here forever. Let's just freeze frame this moment, this place. It's a paradise. Wow." And at that instant, a thick cloud filled the whole place, and within the cloud a voice came forth. "This is my beloved. Listen to him." And then the cloud cleared. No Moses, no Elijah, just Jesus standing there alone, looking same as before. So everything back to normal, to the present, and then they came down from the mountaintop following Jesus. Now, I don't blame Peter for blurting out like that. I mean, who wouldn't? And just imagine yourself on the mountaintop witnessing and experiencing what Peter was witnessing and experiencing. Imagine what yourself being with Jesus in his full glory on that holy ground where every earthly worry and concern and suffering and sickness and pain and sorrow would just fade away in the light of his glory. A paradise. I mean, who wouldn't want to build a shack there and stay there forever? I bet you would. I would definitely do staying in that place, paradise, a little longer. Maybe I wouldn't even mind to get stuck there forever. I wouldn't mind to go back 10 years ago and 50 years ago and just stay there. Even to get stuck there, maybe it's kind of my paradise. Lord, let's build shacks and stay here forever, Peter said. Are you stuck? Stuck in paradise? You see, when we say this person is stuck, we mean this person cannot move on or won't move on with life or simply don't move on. When I say I'm stuck, I mean I'm immobilized in my mind and my body. And when I say I'm stuck, I also mean when I'm moving very fast indeed in circles or running in the same place, like treadmill. We say it about our jobs and our relationships, our families and our habits and our homes. We say it about when we can't drive certain regrets out of our heads, our certain desires, certain people, places and things and ideas and choices we made that we cannot unmake or believe we cannot. Are you stuck? Other terms for stuck, we say, I am frozen, I am paralyzed, I'm marooned, I'm trapped, I'm enchanted, I'm enslaved. can fill in the blanks. Are we stuck? Stuck in the past. Now, there's nothing wrong with being nostalgic about your happy past, right? Going back there once in a while and remembering the happy moments, looking at your family photo albums once in a while and shed some tears of happy moments. I do that once in a while. That's okay. But when you start to decorate the entire walls of your children's rooms with the photos and dolls and toys 20 years after they have left the house and expecting them to come back, then you are seriously stuck. It's unhealthy and you need to move on with your life. Are you stuck? So, Annalie Rufus, in her book titled Stuck, she says, we stay stuck because we are either lazy, and or because we are scared, and or because we have no idea who we are, and we do not want to know. When push comes to shove, we are stuck on ourselves. Therefore, getting unstuck, becoming free, requires vitality, bravery, and a courage to face the fear, be honest with self, to change and move on. Are you stuck? Do you want to get unstuck? Jesus did not get stuck on that mountaintop. Jesus did not stay up on that mountaintop. He walked down from the mountaintop, walked off from his glory, decluttered himself of all that was not of this world, not of his call, and came down and met people where they were, in the middle of the crowd, in the midst of pain and suffering, in the fringe of society, and walked into the center of broken lives and into the core of suffering souls, and suffered with the suffering people, and to live and to die for the people. Jesus did not get stuck in his glory. What about us, church? Are we stuck? Let's talk about church. Now, it's easy to get stuck in the past, stuck in the glorious past. Back in 50 years ago, church was at the peak year, especially for the United Church of Canada, we're peak year for us, when it had most membership, over 1.2 million people. When Sunday schools were filled with children, the churches expanded and planted new churches everywhere, even several blocks away from other United churches, like seeing Starbucks almost every street corner. That was good old day, our mountaintop moment of paradise for United Church of Canada. And that's okay to remember back. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being nostalgic about the glory days of the church in 50s or 60s or 70s, when the church was a force in the wider church circle, in the community, and in the world, when we had many young people, even women going to seminaries, and men and women going to seminaries and graduated and being sent out to ministries, and glorious past. There's nothing wrong with being nostalgic and be grateful for those glorious days. But the past is past. We cannot bring back the past. We can't stay on that mountaintop and try to revive the past glories into the present. It's not gonna happen. It's not healthy, it's not living, it's life on hold, it's a church that's stuck. You see, it's easy to go back and reminiscent about our glorious past as we grieve over our losses. And sometimes I hear that from in our denomination, as we face the daunting task of figuring out our present and future life or ministry. And our temptation is to go back up the mountaintop when the present danger and fear and uncertainty kind of grip us. But you see, Jesus is not there anymore. Sort of like, ladies and gentlemen, Jesus has left the building and he ain't coming back, so could you just go away? We can't go back to the mountaintop. We've got to be honest with who we are. So in 2 weeks, we will meet for our congregational annual meeting, and you have our annual report I hope you read my report. I will be speaking more about it then, but for now, the theme for Knox this year is growth. I put it as a growth. And when I say growth, I don't mean going back to the glorious days of past, when the church was packed with young and old alike. I don't mean that. And I don't mean growth as in trying to lure youth and young people in the pews. I mean, as if they are the sole hope for the future of our church. I have nothing against youth and young people. I want them in the church as well, and we need to do some things to do that as well. But we need to be a little bit honest with ourselves, right? I mean, have you noticed lately who you were sitting with beside you in the church pews? Most likely your age group. Right? Have we lately looked at ourselves in the mirror? Folks, we are looking at our future. And that ain't that bad, unless you have a bad hair day. One thing I know is that God is doing new things every day. The question is, are we willing and ready to embrace what God is doing in our midst, instead of lamenting and grieving or declining and graying? We need to think, we need to reframe ourselves that we play a huge part, huge role in paving the future of ministry into the future of Knox. I mean, where is it in the church manual or even in the scripture that the next generation of our church would be just youth and young people and all who grew up in this country, the same race or colored people? What about all those baby boomers from around the world who are coming around this area? The young people from other places who are flocking into this wonderful Vancouver West Side to study. The future is all around us, already here. And we play a huge part in bringing that future. Folks, we are the anchor for the future of our ministry in this area. You are the gift of our church. You are the gift of this ministry and wider ministry. You are the strength of our church now and into the future. So, not that you were thinking, but if you were somehow been thinking and daydreaming about the glorious past, it's time to get real. Stop saying that we need more youth and young people. Don't worry about them. They will come when they see their parents and grandparents fired up with a renewed dream for the future, having fun in the church and out in the community. We don't need to worry about them. They will probably come back sooner than we think. So we need to stop dwelling in the past. Stop dwelling in the doom and gloom. Just relax. Let's have some serious fun in the church. Are we stuck? Then it's time to get unstuck as people and as church. You see, life is a gift. Whatever that life might look like, it's a gift from God. And it's too precious to let it just pass by. We are the gift of our church. We are the gift of our community. We can't let that just pass by. So I look at my photos of my children when they were little. And once in a while, it brings me to that place of paradise once I have. But I'm not stuck there. The life that I have with my children now is a gift. And of course, I fully intend to and fully ready to embrace the bundle of gift that will be on the horizon in a month, a grandchild. I might get stuck there for a while, but that's different. Anyway, what about us? What about you? Are you fully embracing and engaging in the tapestry of life and ministry that God is weaving in our midst here and now? As we get ourselves and our life unstuck from the past. Are we stuck? Then it's time to get unstuck.